Hey everybody, Dylan here over at the Caden Academy, and I'm just sitting down to write some content today. And I feel like this could help a lot of people in the world. I would say the world in which we live in right now, but really, if you take a step back throughout human history, um, it would appear that the world is trending in a more positive direction um, versus most of human history. But there's just been so many people lately, even coaching clients of mine and just people in general that you come in contact with on a daily basis with so much happening in the world right now, politically, um, uh, you know, all types of things that are going on. And by the way, there's always something going on. Go back to the 70s, go back to the 80s, go back to the 90s, the 2000s, the 1500s, the 1600s. There's always things going on. But I wrote down some thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys, more in kind of a lecture style. And I titled this video, maybe the title will change, but for now it's titled "Why Constantly Staying Informed is Making You Anxious and How to Stop." And what I really want to stress as I get into this content is that uh, people don't realize I'm not asking you to not be informed. Being informed to some extent is helpful, but being over informed, it leads to a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, especially with, you can tune into any aspect of social media today and it's just a constant bombardment of fear, anxiety, depression, you name it. And so what I'm going to share with you here is just kind of some thoughts that I had journaled and written down, and on how we can tune out for a little while and why tuning out is important. You don't need to constantly be informed. You don't need to know second by second. Really, quite frankly, I have social media, YouTube accounts, Facebook accounts to try to help people and their mindsets in their businesses, whether it be productivity or just kind of mental breakthroughs. But personally, I don't use it. I checked out of social media almost a decade ago. And it's one of the most freeing things that I had ever done because, especially today, the algorithms in social media are so well that if you just click on one little thing, or you don't even have to click on it, if you just watch one little YouTube short for a half a second or whatever it is, it says, this is what you're interested in. It plays you more of those. And that's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your peace. It's not health mentally as well. And people say to me, Dylan, how are you going to know if something happens in the world? Well, I always laugh. I'm laughing now about that because just existing in human nature, somebody will tell me something happened. I don't have to follow my YouTube feed or my Facebook feed or whatever it might be to know what's going on in the world. I walk into a coffee shop and everybody's talking about, have you seen this? Have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? So I don't need social media. I don't need YouTube. I don't need Facebook, Instagram, traditional media, TV to know what's happening in the world. And you want to be careful with what I say, but to some extent, we have very little control over what's happening out there. And so, but what we do have complete control over is what's happening here in mentally as well and internally. And so much of what I try to do and put out there is just to help people flip that script, to move away from things that are negative vibrations, negative frequencies, things that lead to fear, things that lead to depression, things that lead to feelings of scarcity. You don't have enough. You don't have enough income. You're not attractive enough. You're not physically active enough. Yeah, whatever it might be, these feelings of lack and stuff like that. This is not how God had intended this experience to be. You can choose to kind of go down that path if you wish, or you can choose to kind of hold up a stop sign and say, no, I don't want to live in fear. I don't want to live in anxiety. I don't want to live in chaos anymore. And the more important thing that tends to happen, unless you start to become aware and make this shift, is that you attract more of it, right? If your reality is, if your belief is that the world is a chaotic place, that's going to be your reality. If you believe that bad things always happen to you, bad things are going to continue to happen to you. If you believe that money is hard to make. Money is going to be hard to make. And so you've got to begin to catch yourself and flip the script and feel the life, feel the income. Like Neville Goddard used to say, live in the end. Feel what it is now that you want to achieve. And when you start moving away from these negative influences, these negative music, movies, media, conversations, posts, comments, that just bring more chaos and more depression and more stress into your life, and you flip that script and you start becoming attuned and tune out of it, is what I'm asking you to do for a short time. More good things start to happen. More good relationships start to come into your life. More good opportunities start to come into your life. More money starts to flow into your life. More opportunities start to flow in your life. And that's the point that I really want to stress here. And so, long story short, I'm going to read you guys some thoughts that I had put down kind of on this topic. Why staying constantly informed is making you anxious, and how to stop, or another title I could name it, Reclaiming Your Peace in a Loud World. And so, if you've made it this far, thank you. I'd like to engage with you all. So feel free to comment. Are you going to be able to, what are some things that are causing you stress in your life right now? Where are some areas that you need some breakthrough? Are you able to commit to tuning out to a lot of this stuff that we're going to discuss for the next 30 days? Leave it in the comments. And before we get into this, also, if you haven't already, head over to the cadenacademy.com and join our 7-day productivity challenge. And the reason why I say that is because by joining that challenge, it's going to not only give you some helpful tips on productivity, whether it's personal life or business, but more importantly, it's going to subscribe you to the Caden Academy newsletter. And there's 150 days and growing of just wonderful, not just productivity content, but mindset, all types of stuff to help you make big breakthroughs, big mental shifts, big transformations in your life. So head over to cadeacademy.com and subscribe to that newsletter. It's free. If you don't like it, you can subscribe at any time. But there's a ton of great resources. I put a lot of effort into making sure it's a place of value for you all as well, too. Okay. So thank you for checking it out. I'm going to read you guys some notes, and let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Talk to you soon. Welcome, everybody. Dylan here. And I just wrote down kind of a series of notes to try to help so many people that today are just being consumed with a lot of the negativity in the world. And so I just want to give you some things to kind of think about as well. And I've titled this Tuning Out to Tune In, Reclaiming Your Peace in a Loud World. So all you need to do is just sit back and listen. And if it makes sense to you or it doesn't make sense to you, feel free to engage in the comments and chat. I want to hear from you guys. But I wanted to start by asking you something. And that is, have you been feeling weighed down lately, like so many people have? Not by your own life, but by everything going on in the world. You're not alone. Right now, it feels like there's always something new, some crisis, some outrage, some feed or headline demanding our emotional response. And the message is clear. If you're not paying attention to all of it, all the time, then somehow, some way, you're not being responsible, or awake, or informed, or you're going to miss something. But I wrote this series of notes down to kind of offer you all a different perspective, to get your mind thinking in a different way. But consider, what if staying constantly informed is actually costing you the peace that you so desire? What if it's not helping you become more effective in any way, or more prepared in any way, but instead making you more reactive, more anxious, more overwhelmed? Have you noticed yourself being more reactive to friends and family, maybe your spouse, maybe your children? Dyer once said, "You cannot always control what goes on the outside, but you can always control what goes on inside. But how can we control what goes on inside? When we never stop letting the outside in. Neville Goddard gave us one of the clearest metaphors for this when he said, "Just as a branch withers and dies when the sap of the vine ceases to flow toward it, so do things in your world pass away if you take your attention from them." Reflect on that for a moment. Your attention, your focus is the sap of life. It's what keeps things alive. If you're constantly feeding fear, conflict, chaos with your awareness, then that's what's going to keep growing. But here's the beautiful truth. Whatever you stop nourishing, whatever you stop giving your attention to, fades. So why not stop giving your attention to it? All these things in life that we call problems, all this fear. Alan Watts, another great philosopher, had an angle on this. He talked a lot about the myth of control, how our need to manage everything, fix everything, understand everything is actually part of what causes our suffering. He said, and I quote, "You're under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago." Think about that. You are allowed to stop playing the game. Let me say that again. You are allowed to stop playing the game. You want to, you talk about it, but why don't you? You're allowed to stop consuming content that makes you angry, fearful, or heavy. Many times knowingly, but a lot of times unknowingly, that it's having this effect on you. You are allowed to protect your peace, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. And I'm going to tell you, the world in which we live in today is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable when you're the one who chooses to opt out. I'm here to help you break free of the fear response loop. We've normalized as a society being constantly emotionally flooded. But when you live in chronic fear, this response loop, always on edge, always reacting, you lose your ability to respond with wisdom and clarity. You lose your personal sovereignty. And slowly, you become a puppet of the very system that's draining you. Tuning out isn't denial, it's discipline. It's saying to yourself, I don't owe my attention to everything. I get to choose what I energize, and I choose peace. If you want more peace in your life, choose peace. So I want to offer you all something simple, a 30-day reset. Consider taking a break from the news, social media, from commentary and noise. Create boundaries around what gets your attention. Fill the space with something very unique today, stillness. Don't be afraid to sit with yourself in stillness and quiet. They always say this is where you can hear God. Fill the space with stillness, with real conversations, with walks in nature, with writing, prayer, meditation, even just for a month. And maybe some of you listening couldn't do a month. That's okay. Do a day, then 2 days, then 4 days, and see how you feel. Notice what happens when you stop watering the weeds in your mind. You might be surprised how fast the fear fades and how fast peace returns. So I propose a challenge. here's what I'll leave you with. You are the vine, and your attention is the sap. When you direct it, where you direct it determines what grows in your life. So be intentional, be proactive, be sovereign over your awareness, and remember, you don't need to carry the world. You just need to carry your light into it, fully and with peace. Thank you all for listening. If this spoke to you, let me know in the comments. And if you want more tools to protect your energy and raise your vibration, subscribe to our newsletter at cadenacademy.com. There will also be links in the description and in the comments. And super happy you guys are here. We're building something powerful together. Remember to take care of your spirit, and we'll talk soon.